Hello, everybody. It's been a long time. Just to kind of get everybody up to speed, I am Ernest Shepard. Well, clearly you know that because you came across this or it came in your timeline or feed some way, somehow. I am an actor, writer, comedian who happens to work a day job like most actors and comedians. Gotta do what you have to do in order to pay your bills until your dream work pays your bills. At least that's how I see it. I'm also a sports fan, and I wanted to talk about the NFL coaching carousel that's taking place today. Things have been reported that the Chicago Bears have fired head coach Matt Nagy and general manager Ryan Pace, and those are excellent moves. And unfortunately, they're kind of long overdue when it's all said and done, because it's watching some of the things that I watched this season, and I'm a diehard Bears fan and Steelers fan, and watching some of the things that I watched with the Bears this season was just I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. There are certain offenses that are fireable, and while Matt Nagy, the person, seems to be a hell of a guy, Matt Nagy, the coach, was horrible, and they let him languishing a little too long, and it could have potentially jeopardized the franchise going forward, the future of the franchise going forward, or at least push things back an extra year or two because of the lack of development with the younger talent on the team. It's hard to determine who has talent and who can be an NFL pro, at least with this Bears team, because a lot of the young guys really didn't play, especially on the offensive line, which doesn't make any sense to me. But that's the Bears front office allowed Matt Nagy to coach that way, and it is what it is. And now I'm hearing about the potential candidates for the coaching position. I've heard of the name Jim Harbaugh. He's the guy that's up on the radar, and he's probably he is an attractive option to be the Bears head coach. A guy that I like is Brian Flores, who was unceremoniously dumped by the Miami Dolphins earlier. He's a guy that preaches toughness. He's a guy that understands defense. He understands a little bit of offense. And I think him coaching his second time around as a head coach, I think would work wonders. If I were the Bears, that would be another name that I would look at. The other name that I would look at is Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. I think him, having been a head coach before, and let me get this out of the way first and foremost. In order to coach the Bears, I think you have to have some head coaching experience on a pro level. I know that there are a lot of people who are hoping for Ryan Day, who are interested in that. No more college coaches, no more coordinators who's never been a head coach on the NFL level before. I want, and the fans deserve, proven head coaches who have led a team down that tunnel and led a team in the locker room and have been CEOs of that team, so to speak. So Jim Harbaugh, Brian Flores, Dan Quinn, those are the guys that I would hope that they bring in for interviews. And out of those three, I have my choice, but I'll leave that. I'll leave that there. That's for my own personal consumptions. As far as general manager, I don't care. Just be a football guy. And be a guy who identifies talent, and not a guy who throws $10 million to a quarterback for 1 year, mind you, when you already have a viable quarterback there to be a backup or a fringe starter that's making around $13-14 million. That didn't make sense. And also, someone who doesn't throw tens of millions of dollars to a tight end who's past his prime, No offense to Jimmy Graham, but he's past his prime. And he didn't see the field often enough to justify that payment. That money could have went towards the offensive line. The money could have went towards upgrading the receiver position. Could have went towards upgrading the cornerback position. Seeing that development didn't take place until much, much later on down the line. But it's an interesting day for Bears fans. And, I know I'm an actor, and you probably come on here because, oh, shoot, he's actually talking. It's long overdue. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to see where you stand on this Bears coaching and general manager search. And if you don't have an opinion about that, just pop in and say, hey, that's okay. I may actually say hey back. Talk to you all soon.